Hello everyone. So I thought I would make another video on how to compute income from profession in case of a doctor. So we have already completed a video on computation income of that of a lawyer. So today we'll be looking at how do you compute the income from profession of a doctor. Now again, what you can see on the screen is a format. In the same format, you will be computing the income from profession of a doctor. This format has two parts. One is your receipt. As a doctor, whatever he is receiving from his profession, from these receipts, you will be deducting the expenses which are related to his profession. Now, the receipts, as you can see, these are the most commonly used or items of receipts. One is operation fees, consultation fees, visiting fees, and there are certain doctors who also sell medicines and they make income out of it. The next one, if the patients of the doctor, if they give some gifts for for the service that they have rendered, examiner's fee, and there are so many journals which are related exclusively to the doctor profession. So if they write in those journals and if they earn remuneration, that also becomes the professional receipt. Then we are talking about professional expense. So usually a doctor will be working in his clinic or in a hospital. Any expense which are genuinely related to his profession. It can be payment of rent, it can be payment of salary to the staff, telephone expense, light, electricity bill, water charges, which are connected to his hospital or clinic. You will have to write it over here. Those are his expense. Next one is cost of medicine. So again, this cost of medicine, there are two ways of finding it. One is on cash basis. So whatever is the actual value of medicines that you have purchased, you will be recording it. Second one is mercantile basis. There is an equation which is opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock. So until and unless they specify to you in question how the books are maintained, we always assume that the books are maintained in cash basis. If it is maintained on mercantile basis, then they would mention to us in the question that it's maintained on mercantile basis. So otherwise, we will make an assumption that it is maintained on cash basis itself. Next one is depreciation on surgical equipment and X-ray machinery. Usually, you know that these doctors will have a lot of machinery which are set up in your hospitals or in clinics. These are all capital expenditure. When it comes to a lawyer, it's usually the professional books which are his asset. Similarly, for a doctor, it is the surgical equipments, instrument, and all the machinery which are his asset. So whatever is a purchase price of these assets, the purchase price of these assets will be considered as the purchase price of these assets will be considered as a capital expenditure, and you do not record the capital expenditure. The only expense that you're supposed to record here is the depreciation related to those assets. So when, let's say, you have the cost or the purchase price of surgical equipment is given, you don't take the purchase price. The only thing that you're supposed to do with that price is calculate depreciation on surgical equipment. Next one is depreciation on books, which are also an asset to a doctor. Motor car expenses. So let's say a doctor, he's a visiting doctor, he keeps moving from one hospital to another. He has a motor car. So motor car expenses are also to whatever extent he's using that motor car for profession purpose, that is an amount he can claim it as expenses. The next one is expenditure incurred with respect to that of professional knowledge, anything which is genuinely related to professional knowledge. The next one is payment of professional tax and depreciation on computer and furniture. So this is pretty much the format. This is how you're supposed to calculate the income from profession. First, you take all the receipts which are related to the profession. From the receipt, you will be deducting all of the expenses which are only connected to his profession. What you get is income from profession. So we'll quickly solve a problem. This is a problem which was asked in one of your previous year question paper. So this problem was asked in May 2017 question paper. So we will find the solution for the same. The first step that you're supposed to take over here is we will be looking on the receipt side. You can see whatever is on the left hand side, all of these are the receipt. What you can see on the right hand side are all the expenses. Now you will have to check each item and decide whether these receipt or whether these expenses are related to his profession or not. First, we'll be looking at the receipt. The first thing that we have is the consultation fees. So I've written the heading over here, computation of income from profession. It's going to be particulars, amount, and amount. So the first one that we have over here is the consultation fees. Consultation fees. So when it comes to consultation fees, you have consultation fees which are received of 3 years, 2017, 18, 18, 19, and 19, 20. So we will be recording all of these three items. You can add all these three items together. 25,000 plus 2,50,000 plus 30,000. So that will sum up to 80,000. The next item which is related to his profession, receipt which is related to his profession is visiting fees. Consultation fees, visiting fees are normal receipt for that of a doctor. So we will be recording the visiting fees and the amount is 80,000. Visiting fees and the amount is, sorry, this is 3,05,000 and this is 80,000. 3,05,000 and this is 80,000. The next item that we have on the receipt side is winnings from lottery. Winnings from lottery, whether it's gross or net, it is irrelevant. But winnings from lottery is nowhere related to that of a doctor. Doctor has nothing to do, usually in general sense, no doctors have nothing to do from winnings from lottery. So this winnings from lottery will not fall under his income from profession. It will fall under his income from other source. So winnings from lottery is not an income which is genuinely connected to his profession. So we will not be writing the same here. Next one, to interest on post office savings account. He's kept some money in his post office savings account on which he's got interest. Again, that is not even related to his profession. What has a doctor got to do with the interest that he receives from post office savings account? In fact, it is a very subjective thing. He has kept his money. It's not even related to doctor profession. Nobody else in doctor profession will earn this kind of income in general. So again, it's not related to his profession. So we are ignoring the same. Next one is gift from patients. If you look at the format, any gift that you receive from your patients because they were extremely happy with the services that they have given you is included in the professional receipt. So we will be including gifts from patients and the amount is 40,000. Gift from patients and the amount is 40,000. The next item that we have over here is to share from HUF. So share from HUF is never related to the profession of the doctor. He's getting a share, he's getting some portion of the income from Hindu undivided family and it has nothing to do with his profession. So we are ignoring that completely. The next one is sale of medicine. If you look at the format again says sale of medicine is included in the professional receipt. So we will be adding that sale of one. We'll be adding sale of medicines and the amount is 90,000. And the last item that we have is about the loan. So you can see there is loan from bank, and the amount is 1,50,000. Now, whatever loan you receive, it's a capital receipt. So any capital receipt or capital expenditure, we are not recording it over here. Interest that you pay on loan will be recorded as expense, but loan what you get, even if it is for professional purpose, it's a capital receipt, so we are not recording it. Any capital receipt or capital expenditure, we will not be including the same in the calculation. So loan from bank also will not come under the heading of professional receipt. So you add all of these, so that will sum up to 5,15,000. So you can see here in additional information, point number 2 and 3, they have told something about visiting fee and consultation fee. They have told that visiting fee is due and consultation fee both are due, but it is not received. We are maintaining the books on cash basis, which means that you will be recording the items only when you actually receive it in the form of cash. If it is outstanding, if something is accrued, in that case, we won't be recording. You should have actually received it. Anything which is due, which is outstanding, which is accrued, or which is pending, we will not be recording it. So it should be, we are maintaining books in on cash basis. So we will record the items only if we have received it in the form of cash. So that's the reason we will not be recording the visiting fees and the consultation fees. The reason being, although it is due, you have not received the cash yet, and we are maintaining the books on cash basis, which means that the recording has to be done only when you receive it, the cash amount. So those 2 points will not be recorded. Now quickly we'll move on to the expenses side. On the expense side, if you look at it, you have rent of the clinic, which you have received 2 years rent. So we'll be adding those two. So you can write less professional payments. Okay, next one is less professional payments. The first one is rent of clinic. There are two amounts that you have received during the year. 80,000 plus 1,20,000, which will be equal to 2 lakh rupees. The next item that we have over here is, okay, surgical equipment. Now, like I told you, surgical equipment is a capital expenditure. For a doctor, when you ask what his assets are, he would say all the equipments that he uses for his profession are his asset. So surgical equipment is a capital expenditure, which is 1 lakh rupees. You are not writing 1 lakh. You are only charging depreciation on this asset. So whenever there is a capital expenditure, you don't write the price of that asset. You would only charge depreciation on those assets. If you look at this, surgical equipments and computers were purchased and put to use on 10/9/2019. So, which means that surgical equipment. So here you have surgical equipment over here. So when it comes to surgical equipment, the amount of surgical equipment is 1 lakh. If you look at the date, it was put to use from 10th of September. From September till March, if you calculate, 10th of September till 31st March, if you calculate, the number of days that you have used the asset is greater than 180 days. Please watch the depreciation video to understand how to compute it. If you have used an asset for more than 180 days, the entire amount can be charged, or the entire rate can be charged as depreciation. If it is used less than 180 days, in that case, only half of the rate of depreciation can be charged. So you will have to count the number of days from 10th of September till 31st of March, if you count, the number of days will be greater than 180 days. So you can calculate the entire rate of depreciation on surgical equipment. The rate of depreciation is 15%. It may or may not be mentioned to you in the question. So on surgical equipment, please remember the rate of depreciation which is applicable is 15%. Since you're using the asset for more than 180 days, you can apply, or the entire 15% can be claimed as depreciation. Let's say you have used the asset only for less than 180 days. In that case, only half of 15% can be claimed as depreciation. So the days, how the number of days or how long have you used a particular asset is also very, very important, based on which we calculate depreciation. So in this case, the amount of depreciation will sum up to 15,000. The next item that we have over here is computers. Computers are also a capital asset. Sorry, capital, it's a capex or capital expenditure. The amount that you have spent on purchasing the computer is also a capital expenditure. So please remember that in case of capital expenditure, we don't write the price of the asset. We only record the depreciation on those assets. On computers, the rate of depreciation is 40%. There are few items on which you are supposed to know the rate of depreciation. So on computers, it's going to be 40%. So you can calculate depreciation on computer. Depreciation on computer. The amount, the purchase price of the computer is 50,000 into 40% will be equal to 6,000 rupees. So please remember, when it comes to capital expenditure, you don't write the purchase price of the asset. You would only take the asset, calculate depreciation on that asset. You have to be very careful with the dates. If the asset is used for more than 180 days, the entire percentage or rate can be claimed as depreciation. If it is used for less than 180 days, in that case, only half of the rate can be claimed as depreciation. So here, computers, they were also used for more than 180 days. You can look at point number 4. They have been put to use on 10/9/2019. So from September 10th till 31st of March, you calculate the number of days. It will be greater than 180 days. So you can calculate depreciation on the complete percentage, which is 40. The next item that we have over here is, in the question that what we have is interest on loan. It's related to the profession. So whatever interest you're paying on loan that you have borrowed for profession purpose is definitely related to the profession. So you can deduct it. Interest on loan, and the amount is 12,000. If it was taken for personal purpose, you cannot deduct it. But if it is taken for professional purpose, you can deduct the same. The next one is, again, professional books purchased. Again, for a doctor, books are also his asset. That whatever books he purchases will become a capital expenditure. When we talk about capital expenditure, we do not write the price, the purchase price of those assets. We only calculate depreciation on those assets. So depreciation on professional books, depreciation on professional books will be equal to 15,000, which is the value of the books. So 15,000 into 40%. Remember, the rate of depreciation on books and on computer, it is 40,000. So the amount will sum up to, this will be 20,000. This will be 20,000 and this will be 6,000. This will be 6,000 rupees. The next one that we have over here is Okay, by purchase of car, we'll deal with the car part later. The next one is household expense. It's related to your personal house and it is nowhere connected to your business, so you cannot show it. Any income tax that you have shown can also not be deducted because our job itself is to find out what is the income tax that he's supposed to pay. Whatever is shown in his accounting books, that is not acceptable to us. So income tax can also not be deducted. Life insurance premium is again a personal expense. You cannot deduct it. Gift to mother is not related to the profession of his profession. So you cannot deduct that as well. Car expenses, about the car, we have a point. So we'll deal with the car part later. Lottery ticket, lottery has nothing to do with being a doctor. It has no connection to his profession. And the next one is by staff salary. Definitely, whatever salary you pay to the staff is related to the profession. So by staff salary, the amount of staff salary, if you look at it, it's 1,20,000, we'll record it. The final one is related to your car. Now remember, with respect to that of car, okay, if you look at the car here, he has purchased the car and the purchase price of the car is 1,50,000. Now please remember, purchasing a car is a capital expenditure. So when there is capital expenditure, you don't write the purchase amount of the asset. You only charge depreciation on that asset. Now, look at this. You have a purchase price of the car. You also have the written down value. Again, I'm repeating, please watch the depreciation video to get a clear picture of how to calculate depreciation. So, how to calculate depreciation? The first one, depreciation on car. First, you take the written down value. The written down value as given to us in our additional information is 1 lakh. To this amount, you will be adding the new purchase. Add additions or new purchase. Additions or new purchase, which is worth 1,50,000. Which is worth 1,50,000. So your total will be 2,50,000 on which you're supposed to calculate depreciation on. Now, again, let's go back to, please remember the calculation of depreciation. The format is you take the written down value. If you have purchased any asset during the year, you add it. If you have sold the asset, you deduct it. Here, the written down value is 1 lakh. You have purchased a new car and the worth of that new car is 1,50,000. So the actual value of car that you have in your business is worth 2,50,000 on which you're supposed to calculate depreciation. So 2,50,000, the rate of depreciation on car is 15%, which is given to us in the question. So it's, you can see, so 15% is a depreciation which needs to be charged. Now, plus they have given us extra information saying that car is used 60% for profession and 40% for private purpose. So you're using the same car for both profession purpose and private purpose, but only that amount which you use for professional purpose can be deducted. What you are using it, to what extent you're using it for private purpose, you cannot deduct it because it's not related to his profession. So only that portion of the amount which is used only for profession purpose, you can deduct the same. So that will be into 60% because only 60% is used for professional purpose. So that would sum up to 22,500. The next thing that we have is expenses related to car. Again, the actual expense related to the car is actually 30,000. But how much are you using it for profession purpose? This expense of 30,000 is for the entire car. it includes the amount which you have used for private purpose also and for profession purpose. So when we are deducting, whatever deduction we are showing, whatever we are reducing, only that amount which is related to the profession needs to be deducted, not the entire 100%. Only 60% is used for profession. So we will be deducting only 60% of this amount, which is 18,000. So all of our receipts and the payments are over now. The total of all the payments or expense will sum up to 4,13,500. So from your receipt, you minus your expense, what you get is taxable income from profession, which will be 1,05,500, 1,01,500. So this is how you're supposed to compute the income from a taxable income from a profession of a doctor. So please go through the problem. If you have any doubts, kindly let me know. Thank you.